it's a good question. Contemporary science says that all thoughts emerge in the brain, those neurotransmitters firing in the brain, whether endorphins or dopamine or oxytocin and what have you. And they lead to a person feeling the way they do. Whereas our scriptures also talk about three kinds of bodies: a physical body, a subtle body, think of that as your consciousness, and a causal body, the body on which these two bodies stand, think of that as your soul. Although that's not the real definition. I've just simplified it for today's world in all my books and so on. So what is the truth? And in our day-to-day life, can we realize the truth? There is great truth in what today's scientists are saying about mental health. Sometimes when you're depressed, all you need is a good meal, particularly if you're a man. Sometimes when you feel very low, very irritated, very angry, all you need is a bit of a shot of sugar. When you eat a wholesome meal, it goes in your brain, because neurotransmitters are manufactured from enzymes and a combination of other nutrients. So your mental health improves almost immediately. Sometimes it's got nothing to do with how bad your life is, but all to do how badly cooked the food is. And people who take a lot of medication, sometimes they really don't need that much medication. All they need is a more wholesome living where their body gets adequate nutrition at the right times throughout the day. And when your brain is under the weather, yes, you do feel down, you do feel depressed, you do feel very negative, even lethargic, and so on. That's where actually the scriptures are not much different. Because when you meditate, you are trying to calm your brain down. You're trying to train your mind. Because mind is not just in the brain. Mind is also locally available in each cell of the body. If somebody is, let's say, brain dead, brain is merely the processing center. It receives information and it sends information and it stores information. But if somebody is brain dead and you prick that person with a pin, brain is unable to receive signal or send signal, but that local region is sending a signal. So there is certainly local intelligence as well, because healing does occur even when the person is brain dead. It is possible to realize the truth in your day-to-day life, and it is possible to separate pain from suffering. That's what the scriptures teach us. That's the goal of spirituality, that you segregate the two. That you realize pain is inevitable. Pain will happen. It's a part of life. It's unavoidable. But I can train my mind to not consider my pain as my suffering. To be able to see pain for what it is, the way it is it's what really self-realization is. And mindfulness helps you walk that path. His question is, when you surrender, then sometimes you tend to lose a sense of discrimination. by discrimination, he doesn't mean it in the sense to discriminate in a negative way, but that sense of discernment, when you don't discern right from wrong, or you don't try to ascertain anything and you just leave things as they are. And it leads to kind of a passive behavior. Is it okay to use your judgment or intellect even when you have surrendered? I think if you surrender, and by surrendering you mean that I just don't have to worry about anything, or I don't have to do anything, that is an incorrect understanding of the very word surrender. Surrender or surrendering is of the outcome, not of the action. We surrender an outcome, that I've done an action, now I surrender. When the police comes and catches a criminal and they say hands up, he says, look, I surrender. He's already committed a crime. Now he's saying, look, I surrender. I'm not going to try and escape anymore. Okay, I give up. I understand I've done something. Now whatever be the course of law, I would accept it. So even by any stretch of imagination, surrender does not mean that we wash our hands of our karma, of our action. We still got to do what we got to do. Surrender is, look, I've done the best I can, and there are things that are beyond my control. I'm not going to worry about it. It's not always easy, because it's human nature to worry. Sometimes you can't take your mind off a worrisome matter. And there the issue is very simple. Maybe you do have something reasonable to be worried about. Maybe you have done something which is a worrisome matter. So at that time, if you say, look, I'm not going to worry about it, it won't work. If you have done something for which you should be worried about, then you will be worried about it. Surrender or absence of it or lack of it or plenty of it is not going to fix it. If I've lived a straight life, I have much and much less to worry about. That's how it goes. So yes, absolutely, it's okay to use your intellect, wisdom, judgment, your intelligence to make a decision. An example would be, if you've surrendered to a guru and 6 months later or a year later you realize you have plenty of doubt and you want to move on, never feel guilty. Do it. You know why? Because once you do it, if you are right, you will emerge stronger and better. A stronger and a better person. If you are wrong, you would go back to the Guru and share a bond that will become unshakable. So never run away from self-doubt, or not just, or any kind of doubt, or when your intelligence interferes with a certain process. Never run away from it. Face it, go through it, and come out of it triumphantly.